Okay, good evening. Welcome to Nikhil's Jump On and Have a Chat. So, Nikhil, if you wouldn't mind just filling us in on sort of what your career has been to date, who you are, sort of what you do, that would be fantastic.
So my name is Nikhil. I did a degree in sports therapy before doing my master's in strength and conditioning. Worked in various kind of sports and with different teams, and then kind of transitioned over to more clinical work. So worked in London, worked close to home near Luton in Bedfordshire, and then took the leap to set up my own clinic and own business just before COVID, and then got this wonderful place I'm in now a few years ago, and just been driving it forward ever since.
Nice. So, what was the driving factor that made you sort of take the leap into setting up your own clinic?
I think I'd worked under a lot of people, which I had no issues with, but I think in some places maybe managed poorly. But I think there was always going to be at some point down the line where I would set up my own. I think that was probably the goal. I just didn't think I'd do it as soon as I did. But I kind of took some time out to reset and think about what I wanted, and it was to kind of go down my own route, and haven't really looked back. I think the flexibility and everything has worked out really well, and I feel like there's more reward doing it yourself than working for other people. I feel like more motivation.
Great. So you sort of mentioned like the benefits there of like being more flexible, rewarding, and the fact that you get to reap the rewards of the hard work that you sort of do within the clinic environment. Is there any other major benefits that you see of sort of going self-employed or setting up a business?
I definitely think the flexibility for me is the biggest thing. I think there's no limit. Like you just keep pushing it as far as you want to go. You work on your terms, so the effort you put in is what you get back. If you decide, I don't know, I'm going to take a week off, then you're going to make no money. Your client base might take a little bit of a hit, but you kind of take that on the chin and go, that's what it is. But you know what you're getting. I think when you're working for other people, it's more like it's their dream and it's their business, and unless you kind of buy into that, it makes it very difficult. And I've had like a vision of what I wanted and how I want to build it, especially after kind of working for other people and seeing how they've done things and what didn't go well and what did go well. And I've kind of taken all the good bits and tried to put it into what I'm building now. But I just think, working on your own terms. I can't really complain.
And do you schedule those sort of bits of time off that you have? Are they in your diary well ahead, or do you tend to just go ad hoc as to when the diary frees up a little bit? What do you tend to do in order to plan across the year?
I think it depends. Like last year was quite a busy year for me, both work-wise and personally. I had quite a lot of trips that I had to go on, and I blocked those out well in advance, and I wasn't really looking forward to it. I try not to take off more than like a week at a time, but I had at least 2 trips abroad where it was like 2 and 3 weeks, and that was quite difficult. I think most people that know me know I don't really take too much time off work, but if I'm feeling tired or fatigued, and I'll just look at the diary and go, okay, there's a bit of a gap there. I'm just going to plan in advance, block it out. And then if on the day people call me and I go, actually, I'm not feeling as tired as I thought I was, I'll just book them in and see them there. I'm quite close to the clinic, so that goes in my favor to kind of see people last minute if needed.
And do you find yourself sort of drawn into, if you are away, do you find yourself drawn into still working on the business whilst you're away, or are you pretty good at sort of compartmentalizing when you're away and when you can switch off from work and when you're in work?
Yeah, I think I do that quite well. I think the difficult thing is if I'm abroad and people are kind of messaging me, I just reply back because I've got the time to do it. I'm on holiday or doing whatever I'm doing, but it takes 2 seconds to reply back to someone. So some levels yes, some levels no. But I think most people, if they're kind of regular clients, will kind of understand that my time is my time off. So Yeah, but I feel like I deal with it pretty well. I think the more I go on and my kind of personal priorities change a little bit, I'll probably implement a little bit more kind of stricter boundaries.
And so they're the benefits. What would you say like the sort of the harder or more challenging aspects are of running your own business?
I think at the beginning, it's trying to build a client base. That's quite difficult. Like I've done it for everyone else, and then trying to do it again for like the third time, but doing it for yourself always feels quite difficult. But I think that was hard and challenging. But you kind of work through it, and then you trust the process. The expenses side of it, I think I was quite naive and didn't realize how expensive it was to set up your own kind of clinic or get your own premises. But yeah, to be honest, that was probably the biggest part. I think that was challenging because you're dealing with a lot of money, and it's a big risk, especially during kind of COVID, where it was quite uncertain as to where things were going to go.
Yeah, and would you say that you've got any top tips for trying to get those patients or service users in initially? Because I often get messages around, oh, like I've just started out and I'm just starting to build up a client base or a service user base, and I'm sort of trying this method and that method. Is there anything that you found has really worked well for you, or any top tips that you'd have to give to other people?
I think the biggest thing for me has been definitely the word of mouth. I think starting off, it was getting my family and my friends to kind of do most of the advertising, and that took a lot of load off me because I could focus a little bit more on just treating people, and that slowly grew. And I built like the socials up quite well, and that was all purely from just getting people around me to share the word. Even today, I had someone come in and it was purely because of recommendations. He came in and he's like, I'm going to recommend you to the entire team because out of everyone, I've seen, like, you seem to hit the nail on the head, like just with the way you treat people and do things. And it makes it easier because you just have to think about working. You just think about doing your sports therapy or whatever it is you're doing, and you get everyone around you to do the marketing for you. That's how I pretty much built it up. I'm looking to kind of expand it a little bit now, and I'm looking and playing around with a bit more marketing tools and ads and things like that. Because I think you have to at some point if you want to grow your business.
Yeah, and what would be the plan for you then over the next sort of 5 years? Is it clinic growth and further premises, or is it just to grow where you are now? What would you like it to look like, I suppose, as you move forward?
I think I've got a lot of visions in my head, and I think I've got to narrow them down. But I think I definitely want another premises, and I want to open up more. But I do understand that you end up managing a lot of people as well. So it's trying to get the balance in that. But I think, yeah, expanding this, getting someone else in here working is probably the next step. And then looking to kind of open up more locations, hopefully, is the goal. But I think if I can find a location where you kind of own the premises, I think that takes a lot of weight off just the renting side. Obviously, you've got the mortgage and stuff to pay on that, but if you can manage that, then yeah, it's just finding places are difficult, which was actually one of the challenges setting up a business, was trying to find where I'm going to place the location or the actual clinic.
Yeah, it could take a lot of research, can't it, in terms of finding out where the best place is, where taking into account all the costs associated with that as well. So yeah, it can be a challenging time, especially when you think about expansion and you're thinking about, okay, now you have to potentially manage somebody else within that as well. But definitely a nice goal to have or to be working towards. So who's the typical client base that you have coming into the clinic? Are they generally sports population, or are they general population?
That's quite interesting, I think, because a lot of people ask me that, and I would say it's a good mix. Like, I see those who are quite active, maybe quite like recreational, and then you've got some who are kind of semi-professional, and some that compete on like a national level, and the odd few that are like international levels, and that's quite nice. And then you've got those who don't play any sport at all, kind of, more desk based, and then you've got those who are more kind of manual labor work, so quite physical. And then I actually recently I've kind of seen a lot more elderly people. So that kind of population here is growing quite a lot. And what I've found is they love to talk, and they are the ones that will spread the word to like everyone. And that's quite nice. It's a very different kind of clientele in the way you manage them, but it's nice because you feel like you're making a bit more difference working with them than working with people who are like athletes. The mentality is different, and you just have to manage them a little bit differently.
Yeah, nice mix in order to keep your skills up with a variety of different people across the population there as well. And is there any particular injury that you see a lot of, or any particular injuries that you really enjoy almost getting your teeth into and like working out the complexities behind some of the cases? What are you enjoying doing at the moment?
I mean, before a few years ago, I would have probably said shoulders, but I think it's switching more towards like knees and ankles. So yeah, coming down the chain a little bit, but I think knee injuries they're quite intricate, and I kind of enjoy the rehab side of it, especially when you get into the exercise and all of that, the kind of conditioning, balance, the proprioception, all of that. Like you're just finding ways to make it fun and keep people engaged. So I kind of like that a little bit more.
Yeah, knees are definitely my favorite joint. I think they can be, some of them can be really simple, and it's nice that you can I think implement some exercises around that and do that rehabilitation and sort of help someone develop quite quickly on the more simple cases of a knee. Then you've got the complexities of if there is trauma across multiple structures, trying to get even just the slightest amount of flexion back in a knee can sometimes be quite difficult as well. So yeah, I do like the challenge of a knee, and I think the anatomy for me just sits better in my mind. I don't know why, but it just sits better in my mind. I can visualize it quite easily, maybe because you can get your hands all the way around the joint when you're palpating it and sort of moving those joints. Have there been any particular cases where you found them to be really difficult cases, where they've been so complex and you've managed to work through them at all?
You know, I was trying to have a think about this. I think there was one, I wouldn't say it was difficult. It was maybe a bit unusual. And that got me thinking a lot and maybe kind of threw me off. And then sometimes you're like, you just got to trust your gut. But it was a 20-year-old female who came in 8 weeks post kind of just playing a little bit of football and felt like a pop in her calf. Couldn't walk for a few days. She walked into the clinic absolutely fine, no limp. Kind of went through the subjective. She said she was playing football, just felt a pop, no one around her. But pointed high up in her calf. So immediately I'm thinking kind of calf strain or calf tear. And she said there was extensive bruising, and that came, you know, all started in the calf, and then like a week later came down into the Achilles. And then I'm assessing her, and she's got full range of movement, a reasonable amount of strength. Now I did the calf squeeze test for the Achilles, which was normal. So that was negative. And then I was just observing, and then I go, there's a little bit of a dip here, and I'm palpating and I can feel the dip. And I'm like, nothing's adding up, because if you had ruptured your Achilles, you wouldn't really have full range of movement, and you wouldn't have that amount of strength that she was presenting with. And like I said, she walked in without a limp. And I said, look, I think we should refer you for a scan just to double check, because you still can't run on it. And she went and got her scan. And I said, I'm going to mark it down on the notes as at least a partial tear, but possibly a full rupture, even though it doesn't look like it. But it came back as a full rupture with a 2.5 centimeter gap. So it really threw me off a little bit, because I was like, do I refer you for a scan? Do I not refer you? I actually referred her back to the GP, and he, as soon as I got the result for the ultrasound scan, he just booked us straight into A&E, and they had a look at it and said, yeah, it is a full rupture. But we then end up doing the whole rehab conservatively, which was quite nice. But yeah, I think there's little elements that sometimes they throw you off, and you just got to trust your gut that you know what you're doing.
Yeah, and even just the fact that if you were to sort of profile that person and sort of have your index of suspicion, that's probably quite low in that sort of younger athlete, who you would imagine probably to have a bit more flexibility in tissues. But as you say, there was a mechanism there, and the pop might have led you down that route. But then when you start to objectively assess and it didn't look like that, then yeah, sometimes these things you sort of do have to go with your gut. Do you do many referrals in terms of back to people's GP? How many times you're doing that within clinical practice?
I've done quite a few referrals back, mostly for trying to get scans when people want to go down that route, rather than going privately. But I've built up contacts privately to refer people for scans as well. But I do refer back to the GP. I referred one recently, had a little bit of kind of red flags, lower back pain, bit of kind of constipation, that had been going on for quite a long time. And then I kind of referred that back to the GP, and then they referred for a CT scan, said this needs to be kind of looked into more. I say referred, but I've sent a few people to A&E straight from the clinic. One was for an Achilles rupture that happened the day before. And I say a rupture, like again, he was presenting with something fairly similar, but he had a lot of his movement was so limited, but I could visibly see the dip. So I said, just go to A&E, get it looked at, because it wasn't in enough pain for it to feel like it had ruptured. And I said, it's either hanging on by a thread. And he went and got it to A&E, they scanned it and said, yes, they put it straight into a boot and it was hanging on, and it had calcified as well from a previous injury. So I've done that. And then I had someone else with a lot of kind of calf swelling. I didn't really suspect a DVT, but they had already been to A&E, and I said, just go back anyway and get it checked again in case they've missed something. So that very few times I've referred back to kind of A&E, but I do refer to the GP a few times.
I've had a few of those Achilles ones where typically people have been playing football and have felt as though someone's kicked them in the back of the leg. It's classic presentation, and on assessment, a clear, palpable dip. But these have both been acute, actually, from pitch side. So a palpable dip in that Achilles tendon, and yeah, straight referral to go and get that checked out further and see what the best management is for that injury as well. So in terms of the patients that you've been seeing, okay, is there any sort of standout cases which you just loved taking them from start to finish, where it was you just really enjoyed the process, the person really bought into the rehabilitation, the exercise, interventions that you've done, and it was just almost like the one that's the most satisfying, gives back to you that kind of patient who's coming?
Yeah, I had one. This was early on when I'd set this clinic up, and that was a groin strain, and it reoccurred a few times. He'd seen another therapist and went back too early to play, and it just ended up back to where it was. And it's like, no, this time I'm taking it seriously. I'm gonna go through the rehab properly. And it was just the progression on progression, and he took it seriously, and that was nice. I think the other nice one I had was I diagnosed an ACL rupture with an 18-year-old, and they had been actually initially diagnosed with an MCL from the physio at the club and A&E. So he came into the clinic, and I was a little bit like, it's got to be MCL. And I assessed it, and I was like, actually, it's not. To me, it didn't seem like it was. And I did say, it looks like it's your ACL. And ACL rupture and meniscus tear. And we did all of the kind of pre-op strengthening, because I think it was about a year from when he got the scan done to when it actually operated. Because it was kind of, again, during COVID time. So we did a year of pre-op strengthening, got him to a really good state. And then he had the operation, and then we then done another 13 months of rehab. And the first maybe 2 months were quite difficult. But once we got over those bits, his movement restored, and he kind of started to see the gains. Yeah, he absolutely loved it. He got back playing as normal after 13 months, but it was just every time he came in, the first 2 months were a bit up and down, but after that, after we got over that hurdle, it was just strength upon strength, and then getting him back to kind of full fitness. So that was probably one of the nicest ones I've had, I think.
Yeah, great stuff. And So just like sort of changing gears now in terms of like for you, like what do you enjoy doing outside of clinic? Just to hear a little bit more about you as a person, really.
Yeah, I think I've always been into some sort like form of fitness. I done most sports like football, cricket, swimming. I did karate for over 10 years, and then took a big turn and went into field hockey instead. So that's probably the most recent sport I've played. This is my first season off, actually. I just kind of needed some time to reset and take a break, which I think is important. I say this to clients all the time. You need to kind of ask yourself why you do these things that we do. But yeah, I kind of do a bit of squash, badminton, yeah, so a lot of kind of physical stuff. Do enjoy hiking, and yeah, just chilling out with friends and family, really. But anything that's physical, I'll probably give it a go.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I think I gave up sport a long time ago. Tried to stay in the gym and just try and keep myself physically active. But yeah, sport sort of when I started working in sport, and weekends were taken up, evenings were taken up. It sort of disrupted the rhythm of being in a club. So I ended up just trying to stay fit in the gym is what I like to say. So just to finish off on, Nikhil, is there any sort of top tips that you give to any practitioners who are sort of working in the same sort of space as you, who have their own clinic, working with that sort of variety of patients who you have sort of described within our video podcast?
Yeah, I think one of the main things is to learn to adapt, because like things change very quickly when you're just running a business, and even in clinic. Like I plan most of my sessions on the morning, if not the day before. But that's just a rough outline because I don't know how they're really going to come in. Maybe it's just my brain is wired that way, but I like to feel like I've prepared something, and sometimes I'll follow those because that's actually what the person is coming with, and it's like, yeah, you can progress them. And sometimes they come in and go, actually, they're even better than that, so I could probably do more. So you've got the outline and you probably stick into it. So just be able to adapt. But I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned. And then just control the things you can control. Like there's a lot of things out of our control, and there's probably no point thinking too much about that. Like overthinking is a big one. Try not to overthink a lot of stuff. Like have your goals, have your like short-term and long-term goals. But I think a lot of the time we look at the goal and the future and the end game. What is the end game? And sometimes we just need to slow it down a little bit, not worry too much about it because that can overwhelm us, and then just take it step by step. Sometimes you have to go one step back to go 2 steps forwards to make progress, and that's just life, isn't it? So like if I kind of set this up during COVID. I had a stable income before, and then decided actually I'm going to take a risk and go backwards and take a little bit of a hit to move forward again. So sometimes you have to, but you've got to weigh up that risk. And I think everyone has opportunities that are there, like every day or every week. There's opportunities. It's just your ability to see them and pick the right ones. Because I've made mistakes, and you either keep making those mistakes or you take them and then learn from them. So yeah.
Some definite important message there. Enjoying the journey, making sure that you're flexible and adaptable in your approach, and hopefully learning from any mistakes which do crop up, so that you can continue to progress in career. So thank you so much. It's great to catch up with you, and hopefully we'll catch up again in the near future.
No, thank you for having me.